Let's go, it's more past 4:30, let's go.
Stay there. Jesus, what's up our people for?
Hey, Kelly. Kelly. Kelly.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm looking for my addendum. Here. For
There's
today,
only two cases. Should have been your agenda should have been the first thing.
but I'm not Saturday. Okay, so come here. You said we just got, this the new business, the old business.
This is old business, but this guy, I'm gonna announce, this is gonna be moved to the next meeting.
It's gonna be wild tonight.
So we only have these two cases.
Mr. Kimberly first, I guess we could go ahead and get this one out.
We have to because of the case number.
Okay,
That's how
gotcha.
we put on there.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. Okay, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we're all set.
Call the meeting in order, have roll call, please.
Mr. Frank Valley,
Here.
Miss Janice Warner,
Here.
Miss Dana Gamblin,
Here.
Mr. Walt Matthews, Mr. Gary Gundelsberger,
Here.
Miss Sharon Johnson,
Here.
Miss Allison Will.
Here.
We'll have sworn in.
Anybody wishing to give testimony today, please raise your right hand. If you wish to speak today, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
Can I have approval of previous meeting minutes? Here.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Motion on the floor, do we second any comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes carried. Any old business, first thing on the agenda was, Kelly, go ahead.
First thing we have on the agenda is case number 21-07. Floyd Matthews, Matt Pool LTD, is appealing the demolition 1528 Columbus Ave, Sandusky, Ohio, 44870, parcel number 57-04877.000, and this is an update case.
Okay. And that was read. Where are we at?
Well, if I may, Mr. Valley, Mark Smith, attorney for Mr. Matthews.
To speak up.
Yes, sir. Mark Smith, attorney for Mr. Matthews with Flynn Pine Cruz, just to provide an update to the board. Mr. Matthews has secured architectural plans for the stairwell that was one of the major issues pursuant to Mr. Tom when we were last here. He has received a quote and proposal for the construction and repair of those same stairwell through Mitchell Construction or Mitchell Contracting, I believe, in the amount of $3,300. Mr. Shipp is currently making copies of these plans and drawings. I just received them right before the meeting, as well as a quote from, I believe, Great Lakes Electric for the electrical work around 23 or 2,400, I believe, if memory serves me correctly. And Mr. Matthews has also provided a bank statement in the amount of $40,000 at his disposal immediately today to accomplish these things. We don't have an estimate yet on the lead abatement, simply because my understanding from when we were last here is certain things needed to be done before the health department can get in to do that. So we don't have a final cost on that yet. But the stairwell being the main issue that Mr. Tom did have, as well as the electrical, my understanding is the plumbing has already been completed. And those costs are well within the budget that Mr. Matthews has, providing in accordance with the bank statement that he's prepared to provide to you guys today, showing that he has upwards of $40,000 at his disposal to do the rehabilitation and repair for this property. The board wanted a plan for the stairs, as well as some estimates from contractors and a bank statement or a letter from the bank of credit showing that he has sufficient funds, and we are here today with those items for the board's review.
Any comments? Any comments? Go ahead, Sheriff.
Where's the paperwork? Because we didn't get that in our packet.
I just received that. Mr. Shipp is currently making copies of it. I just received it today. My understanding is the plans were not delivered to Mr. Matthews until yesterday.
Okay, and he has a letter of credit from the bank that he's good for at least $40,000?
He has a bank statement showing he's got $40,000 in a bank account today.
Okay. What if this runs over $40,000? What's the overall estimate of this whole thing?
We don't know. The estimates that we have place it around between $5,000 and $6,000, and that's for the stairwell and the electric. My understanding is that the plumbing has already been completed by a certified contractor. The only outstanding item that we don't know what the cost would be is the lead abatement, and until the health department can get in there and provide their assessment, we do not know what the cost of that is going to be.
Okay, has anything else been done since we last met?
I'll defer to Mr. Matthews for that. I think he can answer that in more detail as far as what has been completed to date.
Can you tell me, have you completed anything else in the house within the last 30 days?
Flooring, plumbing, electrical, all's been almost done. Couple days away from being complete.
Kelly, do you have that paperwork?
We're one short on this.
Okay. Mr. Matthews, do you have anything else to add to this, on any more estimates you have to get yet, except for the lead, we know that?
Plumbing, I misplaced, I had another one coming, but they couldn't give it to me, so the lady is supposed to be bringing it actually right now. But
Do you
It's been
think this
pretty
is
much-
all going to come in under 40,000?
sure.
Mr. Matthews, do you have an estimate as far as what the plumbing costs are going to be? I know we've got electrical as well as the stairs.
I had it, I misplaced it, they were supposed to give me yesterday.
Okay, do you remember what that number was?
31.
3,100?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking at around 33 for the stairs, 24 for the electrical, and 31 for the plumbing. So that's roughly around 8,000 or 9,000, leaving roughly of this account 31,000 for lead abatement.
Now, is the plumbing done? The plumbing is done.
All of that is done.
Has the inspector been out to inspect to see if all this done?
It has not.
The inspector here?
What we had here.
What was the question?
He was saying all this work was done, plumbing, electrical.
To date, the only permit that we have received is for the electrical work, and it's to replace put in new electrical panels. So it wasn't rewiring anything, just strictly putting new panels in, is what the permit said. To date, no inspections have been done for any of the work was done so far.
Sir, you said the only permit that's been drawn is electrical, and he says he's got the plumbing completed. Do you have to have permit for plumbing or inspection?
Yes, permit would be required. I have talked to the plumbing contractor, and he told me he was going to get that, and that was over a week ago and still haven't received anything.
So the plumbing's done and we don't have any permits?
No inspections either.
How's that possible? Was he supposed to call you, or?
The plumbing contractor would be responsible for scheduling the inspections when necessary.
So how do we know if that's been done right?
Once it's inspected. The contractor that I did talk to was Chris Gallagher from Gallagher Plumbing. He is a registered plumbing contractor in the city of Sandusky.
Okay, Mr. Matthews, you said there's electrical work that's been done as well?
Yes.
When the permit is obtained, so follows a follow-up inspection to verify that the work is correct.
Yes.
That hasn't been done.
It has not. Well, I just got done. They started a job and they didn't have it, and they were only a day away from finishing. And they didn't get back with me. He told me he'd get it and, get the permit and stuff and continue on. He was a day away from completely having everything done. And he hadn't gotten back with him. So I've been calling him and trying to get him back out, but.
Do you have any idea what might have happened with the plumbing permit?
He didn't get it. I mean, I don't know what happened that he didn't get it right away.
See, that leaves us in jeopardy. That's supposed to precede work.
Right.
So you do understand that the board wants to work with you.
Sure.
Everybody understands that.
Right.
But you also understand what type of situation this puts us into when we learn that work that is supposed to be done subject to a permit isn't obtained, and then you come in and tell us that the work has already been done. That leaves plenty of doubt in my mind.
He didn't know he didn't have a permit. He just said.
Yeah, he did the job. They seen the van there working, checked to see if he had the permit. They stopped him. I've been waiting on him to get back, but I thought he'd have it by now. That's where I'm at.
Mr. Tom, can I ask a question about the electrical? You had said that, I saw the proposal was for basically the panel, but you mentioned about the rewiring, and just since I don't have much, that is not in the proposal, what's required to be the whole job, basically. It's like a new service, like he needs an entire new service. But
Yeah, I mean, it was basically the scope of work listed on the permit was to put a new electrical service
Okay,
in the van. That was it. So any other rewiring would not be included, from what I can tell.
and that is spelled out just because,
It was in the permit application. That's
okay,
all I'm going from. I never saw any estimate or anything like that. It was just strictly a permit application.
okay.
What was on the scope of work listed, which is standard on our permit application.
Mr. Tom, have you been checking on this house periodically for inspection, or how are you doing this?
Only by invitation only, because I can't just go on someone's property.
Okay, so when
So
was,
I gotta let them know, and Mr. Matthews said he wanted to be there anytime there's an inspection happening.
What do you think about the demolition?
have you had any
Yes or no?
inspections since the last time we met?
No,
I think give him his chance.
I'm worried about that. I'm very concerned
He
about
get the money,
that.
if he's got the money, I don't know.
If I may, one of the interests regarding the comprehensive rehabilitation plan from the city standpoint is that the owner gives an inspector the right to return and make inspections. Has there been any other inspections on your part?
None from code. No.
Okay, that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
That was part of the comprehensive plan.
Yeah,
Why?
just to make sure that we're all on the same page. That's the only way this works. And if there are pieces missing, it doesn't work. And we're left with this problem. We don't want problems. We want solutions. Frankly, I don't know how we can go on in further discussion today without offering an extension. I'm sorry, people. You have to understand, we can only deal with what's in front of us. And when this began, we were only dealing with certain elements. But in all fairness to Mr. Matthews, he has come in here with some documentation indicating that he has funding available to do work. He has estimates for the work to be done. We just have to get everything lined up correctly, and everybody needs to understand that in order for this to work. So,
Any other comments? Sir, go ahead. Introduce yourself first, please.
My name is Mark Fogg. I live in the neighborhood.
Could you come to the podium, please? Thank you.
My name is Mark Fogg. I live in the neighborhood, as many people that are here today do, and many others that wanted to attend who couldn't. But our concern as neighbors, and I don't know the people who own the house from a hill of beans. I don't know them at all. It makes no difference to me. Our worry is, I've watched the last several meetings online, and I'm seeing extension after extension after extension as we walk by that house in what we believe our own neighborhood. We're partial, obviously, in our own neighborhood to be a wonderful, beautiful neighborhood in the middle of Sandusky. And we have an eyesore sitting in the middle of it that is causing nothing but degradation to our neighborhood. It's causing, obviously property values are not going to increase when we have a house like this sitting in the middle of it. And I'm just concerned as to, as many are, how much longer the extensions go on. I mean, we've heard nothing about addressing the outside of the house, which looks from a virgin eye as totally needs to be done as well. So we have lots of doubts as to what further extensions are going to do if work is being done even without permits, if it's not following the proper chain of command. That's our concern as neighbors. We're all held to a certain accountability on our own property, and we feel like, shouldn't everybody be held to the same accountability? This is not a house that just slipped into disrepair in the last couple of years. This house has been going down for years and years and years, and nothing has been done to upgrade it. Nothing has been done to make it look like a solid, decent piece of property. It's a concern of ours as neighbors, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone, but again, if we're held to a certain level of keeping our properties up to city code, we feel others should be as well. And I don't know, we had a water main problem in front of our house that we spent $10,000 on repairing 5 years ago. and we got the permit, it was done, and we were up to code on everything, and it was done now. COVID doesn't, I mean, I heard COVID at one of the meetings, we couldn't get any contractors because of COVID. Again, this has been in disrepair long before COVID ever happened. We have questions from people coming through, our family, because what the heck is that house around the corner? What's happening? It has been condemned for how long? We don't have answers, but we've been watching these meetings trying to get answers, and, well, he gets another extension, there's another extension. So our neighborhood continues to see this big, awful house that has these signs all over it condemning it, which has been for a year and a half or so anyway, and nothing is done. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact timeline.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Well, I don't, but I do know how long the house has been in disrepair. And it's an insult to the rest of the neighborhood to have our properties being downgraded by this one piece of property. That, you know, if we have another extension and everything is done is wonderful, and we've got wonderful neighbors, great. But it's our concern that it hasn't been done, and how much longer before it gets done. That's our concern as neighbors.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Go ahead.
It has not been a year and a half sitting like it is. Nevertheless,
Introduce yourself.
Floyd Matthews,
Okay, for the record.
all right. It has not been sitting for a year and a half, and it's been in a bad position for a little while, about 7, 8 months. And this meeting is bringing all of my stuff up to date. The outside is the only thing lacking, and the contractors have not completely gave me all of the stuff, but the work has been done. It's going to be inspected. It's going to be brought up to date, so it's not going to be much longer. And this is to get the lead-based program to help beautify the outside, so it's not going to be any longer. I don't know what I think it's going to be, because obviously I'm here, so it's got to be dealt with. So the place is going to be done right and brought up to date completely.
Okay, well, my question is, how much longer?
The lead abatement is going to be the leading in. I mean, the inside is pretty much done. The outside is going to be the lead abatement.
Well, see, technically, it's not even considered done because from what we're understanding, you only have one permit to get something done. You need permits for everything throughout this process.
Right.
So until you get those permits,
Right.
until it gets re-inspected, it is
Right.
still considered or classified not done.
Okay, that's totally not in my hands. It's to get the guys to do it. I thought they were going to get the permits to do the job. I hired them to do the job. They were licensed, contracted people. And that's what I'm waiting on. It's just a matter of getting them down there, which they told me the other day, about 3 days ago, they would have it, but they haven't.
Well, now you applied, okay, so let me.
I don't get them, the contractors get them.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm reading this comprehensive plan, and I believe you got a copy of this. It said the comprehensive plan, rehabilitation plan, shall be approved by the city chief building official, and any changes to the approval of the rehabilitation plan shall be submitted and be approved by the city building official before any changes commence or construction takes place. Did you do that? Did you submit your plans to the chief building inspector, and did he give you a written approval of this, of what you did so far?
He told me to get licensed contractors to get in there to do this. They haven't been that easy to get, so as far as
Well,
getting a plan, I was getting them started as soon as I could get them going.
somebody has dropped the ball. I don't know if it's you or if it's the city,
Demolish it?
but that's what this says. The comprehensive plan says. You went ahead and did the work without it having to be approved. The plan was approved and the cost in place. What happened here, John?
Ms. Johnson, my name's John Orzek. I'm the Assistant City Manager. I oversee
Speak up.
building and
Speak up.
I'm John Orzak. I'm the Assistant City Manager, and I oversee the Building and Code Department. Obviously, the city hasn't failed to submit a comprehensive plan or approve it because one has not been submitted. The comprehensive plan with the stairwells, the electric, the plumbing, none of that has been done. So I don't want you to sit there and blame the city that that the city's fault for not doing a comprehensive plan. Mr. Matthews and his attorney have known that, so there was not a plumbing permit pulled. The only reason that the city was there was because some neighbors called because there was a bunch of activity there, and we went out, Mr. Tom went out and checked and then notified the plumbing contractor. So no, there wasn't a comprehensive plan submitted. There hasn't been one submitted. We don't have permits or a plan for the stairwell, and that's where we're at. So please do not blame the city. Those documents were all submitted to Mr. Smith and Mr. Matthews, and obviously this thing is going to take a lot of time. The board's has been very fair to Mr. Matthews, but there's a lot of stuff that he's not doing that it's not the city's fault. So
I would like to say something else too. It says here, at the end, a code compliance officer shall be granted access to inspect the interior of the structure on a monthly basis in order to report progress of the rehabilitation project to the Housing Appeals Board. He's saying he's waiting for an invite. He can't go on the property without an invite. But then this says here.
Code enforcement, I'm the building department.
Okay,
Two different things.
okay.
Code compliance applies to both departments.
I'm sorry, can you speak up?
Code compliance applies to both departments, so regardless of whether it's the housing office or the building department, code compliance is kind of a broad term.
Okay, so who initiates this then?
It depends on the write-ups that we're dealing with as far as the violations. Those are the individuals that would go in and do the periodic inspections. So anything as far as housing is concerned, we're going to inspect our items post lead abatement. All of those items that we wrote up are items that are going to be finished after the lead abatement is done.
And I thought I heard at the last meeting or something that nothing could be touched. The lead abatement people said nothing could be touched until they got in there and looked it over to see what's going on with the house there. No construction could take place until they got their lead done.
That was part of the conversation that was supposed to take place between Mr. Matthews and the lead abatement contractors. And then they would determine what could be done prior to, during, and after the lead abatement. So as far as that conversation is concerned, I don't have that information.
Well, somebody said that. Didn't you all hear that? Okay, so anyways.
Well, no, it was said. What he's saying is it was said, but he wasn't privy to the conversation between the lead abatement people and Mr. Matthews.
Okay, now the lead abatement guy, or the guy from the health department was here at the last meeting, but he didn't get up to speak, and I was disappointed in that. And I don't think he's here tonight. I think we should at least hear somebody's side of the story on this lead abatement thing.
I agree.
I can ensure that he is here at the next meeting. I mean, the lead abatement is on hold because of the electrical, the plumbing, and some other issues that can be dealt with prior to the lead abatement. They have to have running water before the contractor can come in. They have to have a working bathroom. There are certain items that have to be taken care of behind the scenes before they begin to button things up. Once they button things up and seal up the lead paint, they don't want another contractor coming in and disturbing that work, which would then create issues, health issues.
I'll expand on that, Ms. Johnson, as well. Mr. England, I had a conversation with him, and the stairwell issue has to be fixed before they'll do the lead abatement, because if the stairwell isn't fixed and he doesn't have access to the apartments that are upstairs, then the project wouldn't be worth HUD funding. So there's some things that have to be done before the lead abatement can be done. The stairwell is one of the primary ones.
Okay, now for the, he's taken a HUD grant, is that correct?
There's a grant funding available for the lead abatement
Okay.
through HUD that the Health Department administrates.
Okay.
Speak up. Don't stop on the microphone. You can vocal your voice. Speak up. It's a big room.
The lead abatement is through HUD, which the Erie County Health Department administrates that grant. So it is HUD funding, federal funding to take care of issues like this.
Okay, now I have a question on the grants. Especially, and I don't know how HUD does it, but when people come here for, a residential person comes here and they want a grant from the city, they cannot owe any money like water and sewer and taxes or any of that in order to get that city grant. Does HUD have any stipulations like that? Because if they do, here's my next question, is that Mr. Matthews is behind in some of his water and sewer and his taxes.
No, it's not.
He is not.
Are they all paid? Because a month ago, pardon?
Where'd you get that information?
I got that about a month ago
Well, you're way
from our
behind.
last meeting, so you paid up everything? Have you've paid up?
Everything is paid.
Okay, hey. Excuse me. We're gonna have enough of this.
Do we have proof that that's been paid? Because I got this from the water department that you owed about $486,000
And what?
on all your properties in Erie County. I'm looking at all of your properties,
So are we.
because that has a bearing on whether you can afford this fix-up.
That's not accurate. Okay, well, we're gonna bring this back to where we are supposed to be.
I just want to tell you that that's out there, and we need to have proof that this stuff's been paid. And I don't know if he's going for a HUD grant, if that factors in with this.
Well, if it is, I mean, there's things that they have to do to apply for the grant, so if he doesn't qualify, HUD will let him know that. So, but at this point, though, I think we're getting off base at this time. So we need to bring this back full circle. I know Mr. Gundersberger wanted to say something, so I'm
I
going to
do.
give him the floor.
I do.
He didn't put his hand up.
Yeah, I've been making those.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Richard Brady. I serve as the president of the City Commission. I spoke before you approximately three meetings ago, 3 months ago. I would like to share with you a concept tonight that I think we might be missing. I think this lady is absolutely correct. I think we're getting off into the weeds, talking about a lot of other things other than what is right before you. And my point is, and it's going to be, that I believe this board required Mr. Matthews to provide this board with two things. A comprehensive plan and a plan to rebuild that stairway. My question to you is, if you do not have that plan before you, that's a non-starter. I believe you have to take action based on the failure to provide a comprehensive plan, which this board requested, and the failure to give you a detailed plan on how you're going to get in and out of that second floor, because nothing's going to happen. There's going to be no lead abatement. There's going to be no work on that property as long as there's a life safety issue getting into that second floor. But cycle back to the fact that this board required this man to provide you with a comprehensive plan, and you do not have one today.
Mr. Brady, I'll go one step further. We have plumbing work that's been done. A registered plumber with the city of Sandusky knows he has an obligation to obtain a permit and ignored it, or maybe ignored is the wrong word. He didn't obtain one, yet the work was done. I have a problem with that.
I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Gittelsberg. I believe this board can take action based on those two items, and that's what I would ask you to do.
When I say we have been generous in our attempt to work with you, and then you come in here tonight and tell the board that you've had all this work done, the plumbing's done, and no permit. That bothers me. I don't know how we can go forward.
And no comprehensive plan.
Madam Board Member, I would respectfully disagree with that. This board, at the last meeting, required Mr. Matthews to come in with a plan for the stairwell. He has provided an architectural plan from the stairwell drawn by a licensed registered architect. He has provided estimates from contractors that are approved by the city. He has provided an electrical estimate from a certified contractor with the city. He hired a certified plumber that's registered with the city to do the plumbing work. If one of those contractors, and there's no dispute, according to at least with Mr. Tom, that it is the contractor's obligation to secure the permit, not Mr. Matthews. So if a registered contractor did not secure that permit, is this board really prepared to hold that against Mr. Matthews? He has provided you with a comprehensive plan to address these issues. He has provided you with an architectural drawing and proposal for the stairwell, and he has provided proof of the financial backing. Those are the things that this board at the last meeting required him to do, and he is here today and has offered that to you. There has been no allegations whatsoever on any part from any of the inspectors that any access to the property from inspections has been denied. In fact, I know that he has been working very closely with Mr. Shipp, and Mr. Shipp is out there routinely, perhaps not in the last month, but during previous intermissions between previous meetings, frequently. Mr. Matthews has cooperated with Mr. Shipp, with Mr. Tom regarding getting people in. He has never refused access to his property to anyone. This board asked him to bring in those two things, proof of financial backing and a plan and proposal for the stairwell and the other registered items. He has done that.
Okay, Mr. Smith, we have Brendan Heil, our law director, who's on the Teams meeting. He's going to talk for a second.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify. I would ask Mr. Smith to clarify for the record. He just made the statement that a comprehensive plan has been provided, and I'd ask him to provide that documentation to support that. Where is the comprehensive plan is my question.
Certainly. There's I'm sorry, do you want me to answer that, or are you still asking? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah, like, where is the physical documentation of that plan is my question.
Certainly. The board members are each holding copies of the plans and drawings for the stairwell, as well as the contractor's estimate to accomplish that, as well as the estimate for the electrical work by registered contractor. And Mr. Tom has already spoken to the fact that Mr. Matthews had a registered and licensed plumber, albeit the plumber seems to, for whatever reason, did not obtain the permit, which was the plumber's responsibility, but had a registered plumber out there to resolve the issues that are included in the letter from Mr. Tom and the city outlining what has to be fixed. Our understanding of the comprehensive plan was simply that we received the punch list of the items. Those items had to be fixed. We've received contractors' estimates for those items to be fixed, as well as architectural drawings. That is the comprehensive plan that I'm referring to.
Thank you. And I want to clarify one other thing that you stated, Mr. Chairman, if I may ask one other question. I believe you stated that a licensed plumber may not have gotten a permit, but is it your assertion, just to be clear for the record, that that is not the responsibility of the actual person hiring the plumber to get the permit?
That's correct. It's also Mr. Tom's assertion as well. Mr. Tom spoke to that as well, and I believe his testimony is that it's the contractor's responsibility to secure the permit.
Well, and I want to clarify for the record and for the board that from a legal perspective is inaccurate. It is ultimately the property owner's responsibility to get the permit. And if you contract that out to a licensed contractor, then you may have them do it, but ultimately you are required to have them do that. I just wanted to be clear for the record in this hearing.
Oh, no. It's not the contractor's responsibility. You would think it would be. He's the one that knows something.
I'm going to recognize this young lady.
I'm going to let this young lady speak, and then after that, we're going to make a decision. So you have.
Hi, my name is April Rowe, and I'm the property owner at 1524, directly beside Floyd's property. Okay. And I feel like this is blatant harassment with his property. I feel that he's doing the work and everything. I see the vans over there every day when I come home from work. I see the stuff that's going on. I feel that it's a lack of communication on a lot of people's parts and stuff like that. If you look at my house at 1524, there's 3 other houses to the left of me that have property issues and clutter, and their yards are not together and their houses are unsightly. Yes, my property is all together because unfortunately after I bought my house, I had a house fire. So everything's brand new, my yard and stuff is together. But I just don't understand why you guys are so fixated on that property. If anybody had a problem with that property, it would be me directly beside him that would think that was an eyesore. I feel that if you gave him a little bit more time and to be on board with whoever he has to get, with the contractors or the permits or whatever that he has to get, then everybody, would be on the same page and everything would get done how it's supposed to get done. And it didn't help because he had tenants that were in there that didn't upkeep the property, first of all, didn't contact him if anything was going wrong with the property. And that's not his fault. If you're the landlord and you don't, get contacted because something is, needing to be repaired, then there's nothing that you can do. They moved out, then that's when he found out about all the repairs that need to be done. So I feel that's not Mr. Matthews' fault at all. And I just feel like I said, with the blatant harassment, because the other day there were some repair guys over there and they were around back and some gentleman was walking down the street and called the police because the front door was open. That's the door that, the repair guys go in or whatever. And it was just strange that he was walking down the street, seeing the door open, and instead of going around the house to see if any of the workers were around there, he just called the police. 7 cop cars showed up. What do you need 7 cop cars? Because this gentleman, and I argue with the gentleman, did you not ask or walk around the property? You went up on the porch. You did everything else, but you called the police to say that there was a door open on an abandoned house? What sense does that make? It makes none. Like they're trying to bring attention to the property, like they're trying to bring the police to the property, like they're trying to do extra things for that property. You see what I'm saying?
Very well said.
It makes absolutely no sense. And luckily, he has cameras that record all that stuff. So, yeah, the people, walking down the street or, looking or whatever. And like I said, if you look at my house and you look at the 3 other houses beside there, look at their porches, look at their yards, clutter. It looks horrible. In fact, in the next year, I'm putting my house up for sale just because of how the neighbors are and how their yards and their houses look. Okay. And I want to move back out to Perkins just so I'm not in the city of Sandusky. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Please come to the microphone. Say your name for the record, please.
My name is Helen Thompson. I live on Wayne Street. I'm behind this property. I've been behind this property for 70 years on and off, so I have seen the history of this thing since I was a baby. This property has been a blight since then. My mother used to complain about it, used to have 3 trailers on the fence line that were grandfathered in, and they were there forever. There was a fire in this property where teenagers were killed, 2 of them, in the attic. This house has been a wreck forever. And the can keeps getting kicked down the street. Nothing substantial, permanent happens. What happens again and again and again is someone will make repairs to a point. The house has, in my memory, has never been up to the standards of the neighborhood, ever. Mr. Hall used to own it. He used to chop chicken heads off in the backyard. The neighbor who spoke, I respect her. And I respect Mr. Matthews for trying to fix the property. But I think there has to be a dose of realism here. It has been a long, long time since that property came close to reflecting the nature of the neighborhood. Now, my house is in relatively good condition. It was my folks. I've lived in it. I have put $40,000 in my house in the last 5 years. $40,000 sounds like a lot of money. But when you start with a house that is a wreck from the basement to the attic, $40,000 is not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. What's lacking here, of course, is a plan. Now, to say, well, we drove this document together, and we brought that document together, and if we look over here, there's some plans, and over there's some plans, that is not a plan. That's a Band-Aid. Okay? I'm hearing, eloquently spoken, but still hearing, that this party is not responsible for the plan. Okay? I'm hearing, gee, the plumbing contractor is responsible for the permits. No. No. The responsibility stops there. And I do give him credit. He's trying to do something for the property. I just don't think it's realistic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got something I want to say.
Go ahead, Pam.
Gail Matthews, I'm the owner. Now, this place has been rented out to Metro Housing for a couple of years off and on. And if it wasn't legit, the government wouldn't put any money into it every month. My husband has painted it several times. He's only human. He's doing the best he can. We don't have a problem doing what we have to do, but be realistic. You can only do so much within working 40, 50 hours, and none of this is taken in consideration. We paid on this unit. If I had to, I would live in it. I don't have a problem with it. But be realistic and fair. That's all I got to say. But like I said, it's been rented several times through Metro, and it had to be approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Floyd Matthews again.
Okay, we're gonna make you be the last one, Mr. Matthews,
Okay.
after this, so.
Okay. They're saying there's no plan, but the inside has been fixed. And what they're complaining about is the outside. The outside is a lead abatement, which puts one siding and windows on. So I don't know what the big complaint about it. When that's the plan, ultimately, is to get the outside exterior recovered. Period. Windows, siding. That's going to change everything. So that's the plan. That's the ultimate plan. That's going to get that done, which is changing everything else. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, what was your conversation with the lead abatement people?
Which time?
The last time?
The last time, they were going to come out and do the abatement. Well, the last time, they stopped me. They were going to do the lead abatement, and the building guys told them that they couldn't come out until we got all the violations fixed. So he stopped the lead abatement.
Well, okay, so what I'm understanding here is that there's certain violations that have to be done before the lead abatement can be done. And then at that point, then lead abatement can come in, and then you can finish up the rest of it.
Right.
So again, have you ever put the lead abatement people together with the code enforcement person?
They stopped
to get a
them.
meeting of the minds?
The building guys stopped them. They were not allowed to come out until I got the violations fixed and the estimates.
If I may, Mr. Matthews.
Sure.
I'm going back to the last meeting, and I think it was me, wanting to make it perfectly clear what you're supposed to bring to this meeting.
What's wrong now?
Okay.
It's nothing wrong, I'm just asking a question. You're supposed to bring a comprehensive plan and something to show us how you're going to pay for it.
I did that.
Okay, so that's all we need to deal with. That's all you're supposed to bring us. I don't, and that might be, I'm looking for something that's really a comprehensive plan, but a comprehensive plan would say everything that you're talking about. I met with the lead abatement people. They'll be there on November 10th, and this is what. How
They
come?
stopped that.
So you will put that in your plan. I don't see a plan to say, this is what we're going to do at 1528 Columbus Avenue, unless I was wrong with my definition of a comprehensive plan, letting us know what you're going to do today. And then we were going to decide. To me, it's almost like we're back to where we were a month ago. I'm just giving my opinion. We're back to where we were, because we still don't know where we're going. Where are we going that we need the lead abatement people to do this and that?
Well, it kept changing because originally.
So that should have been part of the plan.
There is no timeline, and that's another part of a comprehensive plan.
You have it. I
There
met
is
with these people,
timelines.
and this didn't happen, so I'm going to schedule this meeting. To me, we don't have a comprehensive plan.
To me, I do, because it changed. The letter abatement was coming out originally,
And that should have been in the plan.
but they keep changing the plan.
That should be in the plan.
Who changed it?
The building guy changed it.
Well, they already know something, he ought to pass something on.
We don't know nothing.
Talk to the building.
The board doesn't know nothing, ma'am, if I don't see it in the plan. That's all I'm saying. I met with XYZ plumber, and this happened. I met with the lead abatement people. To me, that's a comprehensive
I met with them.
plan.
They stopped.
Okay.
They weren't allowed to come
Okay.
out. According to the building guy, I told them I had to get the violations fixed.
I think we
before
should
they
base
go
our,
forward at anything.
yeah, I think we should base our decision based on what we asked for this meeting.
You have some information there.
Word was
It
some.
might not be complete.
There you go.
That's not a problem.
It's a
We are
problem.
human. We'll get it.
It's a
We'll get it.
problem, ma'am, and I appreciate you not yelling at me. But the problem is, we asked for it today.
Well,
That's a
is
problem.
everybody perfect
I-
today? No.
Okay, I'm just trying to, that's what we decided at last meeting, and we don't have what we asked, but that's just my comments.
Well,
Thank you so
they
much.
have changed in the middle of it too. They have changed some of the things. He added on the stairwell
Yeah, flip-flopping.
later. That is not considerate.
The lead abatement schedule kept changing. We were waiting on them, and then we weren't waiting on them. Then we were stopped from waiting on them because they didn't want to do anything until the violations are in place. And then they were supposed to come back, which is where we at now. Now, that flip-flopped about 2 times.
Okay. We're gonna proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I'm still concerned about the wording in this comprehensive plan thing. We've had 30 days, 30 days has passed, and now at the 11th hour, he comes up with all this paperwork that the city has not seen until tonight, and still probably hasn't seen. 30 days have gone by. Why didn't you get your act together during the 30 days so when you come to this meeting, Mr. Tom could stand up there and say, yep, everything's in order, it's a go. Here we are, the 11th hour, and you give us this paperwork to look at. This comprehensive plan says it has to be approved by the chief building official in writing. And they come in and inspect on a monthly basis. And, you know, I mean,
Demolish it or no?
Monthly basis.
building permits shall be obtained. Tonight, that's what you're giving us, all of this stuff here, the city hasn't seen.
Base it on that.
Yes.
Demolish it.
I got it. I gave it to you when I got it. I just got all that information. I just got these guys going, and I wouldn't have done it if I was on a list to be called. I put my name on a random list, so whenever they're ready and somebody cancels, I'll take it. They can start with me. Last week, I got a break from the electric guy and the plumbing guy. Otherwise, it would be even longer because they're all backed up.
The wording states, your plan has to be approved by the city before you do any work in that house. Okay? That's what it says. I'm going by what it says here.
If they're licensed contractors, isn't that approved?
You've already taken on.
No, stop, no. You have to bring that particular plan to the city.
And it's supposed to be here
You
today.
did not do that.
Did not do that.
You got the contractors, and I give you kudos for that. But there was part B to part A, and that part didn't get done. So that's where we're at this point.
You didn't know that was an
I
extra
didn't
step in
know. I
your
didn't realize I had to do that. I thought by taking the contractors, they would take it up because they'll be dealing directly with it.
No, because then as you heard, the legal department state, which I always kind of thought, your permits are always done by
Contract. Homeowners,
the homeowner.
some, but that's all changed.
Madam Boardman, I think there's some confusion there. Mr. Heil said that the homeowner can get permits. Just because they can doesn't mean that it is always their final responsibility to do that.
I'm sorry.
in this
If
case,
multiple
it should be.
individuals can get permits,
Hang on,
then
hang on, we've got Mr.
Okay, he's talking.
Yeah, what I said was actually the opposite. It is the final responsibility of the homeowner. The permit is required to be gotten by the actual person who is doing the work. They contract that out to a third party oftentimes, but if that third party doesn't do it, the ultimate responsibility is on the owner of the property.
Well, how would he know if he told him he's ready to work or he's there with his tools to work? So you figure automatically the man knows that he's a licensed plumber or whatever. You figured he would know to go down there to get the license. We didn't know.
We need to bring
had
this to a
ask
close.
This person or that person, you got license with the city, you got your permit. We didn't know that. All we knew
You make it
was
outside.
get a licensed person.
We're gonna demo?
I mean, I don't think they have to.
Just understand.
He didn't bring what he was supposed to.
All right, so,
Well, we still have the issue. You're supposed to be in contact with the building official. Dropping this paperwork on
Right.
the board is the wrong move. You don't have an agreement with us. You have agreement with the city building official.
Where's he at? Where's the official at?
if I may,
Who is this talking on the mic up here?
that's a
lawyer,
Attorney.
city attorney.
If I may, Mr. Gindelsberger, I believe Mr. Matthews, we did meet yesterday. He advised me yesterday morning after we met, he was on his way to Toledo to pick up these plans. And I did speak with Mr. Tom before this meeting started, and he said he received the drawings yesterday. That was when Mr. Matthews got them. This is not a situation where he's had them for weeks and been hanging on to them. He contacted an architect immediately after our last meeting with this board. He did not receive the plans till yesterday afternoon. He turned them over to Mr. Tom as soon as he got them. This is not a situation where nothing has been done till the 11th hour and he's dumping this on you. Okay, he has been working diligently at this. He has been contacting people. He has gone through approved contractors. He has gone through a licensed architect. Those individuals are all busy. You know, he can't force them to drop everything they're doing to accommodate him immediately.
And we're not really saying that, but my biggest key is communication. So if he started day one from after the first meeting that he contacted an architect, again, he could have either asked the architect, what timeline am I looking at for you to get these to me? Or if he know he didn't have them by a certain time frame, then he could have picked up the phone, contacted Mr. Tom, and stated, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. See, sometimes communication goes a long way.
Right.
Again, and when she's saying the 11th hour, you're bringing that to us. We're not going to approve that, this, that, or the other. It's up to Mr. Tom to approve that. Again, communication. And I just feel like there was none of that.
Well, I communicated, I just didn't get it at the time. I told him last week I thought I was gonna have the plan, but he was working on it along with other stuff, then he couldn't get it to me. So I ended up ultimately getting it all, he got it today when I got it. And I called him and he came out and he inspected it, checked it out, and we detailed it as to the changes that we need to make to get the final thing going. But I've been in contact with him, it's just a matter of I'm not having the control over getting them out as soon as they can, because they are backed up, all of them. To just get a phone call back is next to a miracle. Period. On all of them. Architects, plumbers, electricals. You can't even get a call back. So that's where I'm at.
All right. At this time,
Any other comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'd like to try a motion here. Because of these circumstances here, I would be willing to give this gentleman 30 more days, that's it, 30 more days for this paperwork to clear Mr. Tom. I want it in writing that it's okay with him. If it's not, that's it. I would make a motion to give this gentleman 30 days.
Make a motion to what?
I'm making a motion to give this gentleman 30 days to get this paperwork, because he just gave it to us tonight, okay? To get it approved by Mr. Tom, he's the building official, right? Okay? And get it written approval that what he's got before us tonight, it be approved and brought back to the board in 30 days. And if he doesn't think that's it, because you've already started some of this work, I'm really concerned about this.
Yeah, yes.
This has to be approved by the building official.
He inspects everything I do. I can't get anywhere else. He stops everything. If he,
Your whole plan, cost and everything. You've got some of this together, but you gave it to us at the last minute tonight.
I gave it to you when I got it. These people have not given this stuff to me automatically. And I would take another month, but in a couple of days, I would give you pretty much what you need already in between the meeting.
Well, that's my motion on the table. It's up to the board what they want to do.
Motion on the floor. You want to repeat the motion? I'll take it.
Okay, the motion is to give this gentleman 30 days because he just gave us the paperwork, the comprehensive plan tonight. It has to be approved by the building official. So we're giving 30 days for the building official to look this over and come back with a recommendation to the board. Either this is going to fly or it's not.
I just have one comment about that motion, and I guess I have some confusion. When you say the comprehensive plan, I don't think that just entails the stairway, the electric panel, and the plumbing, which I don't know what the repercussions are for having the work done without having a permit beforehand. I'm not exactly sure. But I think that a motion, I just think there's a lot of missing pieces here just besides getting, this comprehensive plan was not put together beforehand by Mr. Matthews. And I think that's what some of our problem has been, is that bringing paperwork right now is not, it's still not a whole comprehensive plan.
The work should be stopped right now. The work should be stopped right now until he gets that plan.
Okay.
Only thing I said was I think there needs to be a second before there's a discussion.
You've made a second to the motion?
There has not been a second.
No, she's not.
No?
No one seconded.
I know.
Okay.
There was no second. No.
So before there's, I think per Robert's
So the
rule.
motion died.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now.
So
you
the
wanna
only
talk?
thing is to take it down.
Okay, who wants the floor now?
Well, if it dies, then you have no other choice but to take it down right now, to demo it.
Right.
Because the plan wasn't followed. He's already done, the problem I'm having is he's already started this work before it was okayed to do so. That's the problem I'm having. He's already done some of that work. And we're going to get to a point of no return here where he's put some money into this already, and he should have not put that money into it until it was approved. And that's a consequence for him now because he's put some money into this. I don't want this to go any further, for him to put any more money into this if we're going to demo this, so I'll make the motion that we demo the house. We have no choice.
Any other comments from anyone?
I'll second.
What?
She made a motion, I'm seconding, so you can have discussion.
Okay, there was a lot of comments in between. Ellie, read the motion.
The motion that Sharon has made is to go ahead with the demolition of the property at 1528 Columbus Ave.
Correct.
I didn't understand what she said.
She said the motion was on the floor to demo the property at 1528 Columbus Ave.
Okay, all in favor? signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hold on.
Opposed?
Please take a roll, you need to take a roll call vote.
Yes,
He said we need to take a-
I'm going ahead with the roll call.
Oh, he said we need to take a vote.
Let's vote again so I can get a hand vote. All in favor, raise your hand.
She's
No,
gonna do
I'm gonna do
a
the-
roll call.
She gonna do the roll call vote.
I'm going to do the roll call.
Okay,
Yes.
do that, please.
Mr. Frank Valley,
Yes.
Miss Janice Warner.
Yes.
Miss Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Mr. Gary Gunnelsberger,
No.
Miss Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Miss Allison Will.
Yes.
What is it?
It's gonna be demo.
It's a pass.
It passed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, motion
I
passed.
think that's fair. You guys know it.
I don't feel it's fair either.
Not fair at all.
Already, they flip-flopped 2 or 3 times, trying to get this set up. And on a technicality, after all this time and all this work, it's just canceled. You decide to make a motion because you don't know that much about it. You don't know
Blink of an
what.
eye. Blink of an eye. I hope it. I'm through. All of them.
Oh, we still got the second one to hear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Michelle.
All right. The next case on the agenda is case number 21-09. James Kimberlin is appealing the second administrative penalty for 13 Catalina Drive, Sandusky, Ohio, 44870. Parcel number 57-03926.000.
Okay,
Is that him?
Yes.
still on old business on Jim Kimberlin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sir, go ahead. What's your name?
My name is Jim Kimberlin.
Okay,
Did you get my emails today or yesterday?
I don't believe so.
Okay, that's what I emailed earlier today and yesterday. But,
I didn't get them.
They might will to check the junk or the spam mail.
show you what, I have copies of what I emailed. But I have
So you sent them to both
a
of us?
rental agreement with Universal Rental to get the barge. I got this directly after our last meeting. October 4th, 2 p.m. to set the barge.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
going ahead and placing on the record the quote from Universal Rental for the barge rental.
And also, I emailed a couple pictures, and here are those. I have several of the back of it. I've painted the door. I actually did work on the bottom half of the door where I could reach from the back of my boat. So where you had seen it was all messed up. Here, I have other copies
I have
if you
placed
want.
the pictures on the record that Mr. Kimberlin has provided,
I think that's all the copies.
and I have these pictures. Okay.
No.
You did
And I-
work on all of these?
Pardon?
Which number, or all of them?
Number
Mine's number 13.
13,
Mine's
okay.
number 13, yes. And so I've been doing the work because I couldn't get the garage door, obviously, and I wanted to do something there. So I had someone help me and reskin the bottom half of the door. I secured, as soon as he gets the barge back and available, he's going to set it for me. I'll finish repairing the door and then paint the back of the boathouse.
Do you mean back of the boathouse, the exterior?
this is 14.
Just, yes, the
The-
corrugated steel on the sides, yes.
Okay.
Last time he said we wanted that painted also, and I'll,
Yeah.
as soon as I can. You can see there's a small patch on there that I tried to reach in that from the boat, but we're straight up above and I couldn't. So with the barge, I'll be able to use scaffolding and actually reach it because it's corrugated.
And I'm sorry, I was looking at those, you may have mentioned, did you say when you were getting the barge?
No, on his thing, on the letter that I sent there, he said he'd set it as soon as he possibly could. Right now, I was outside before this meeting talking with him on the phone to see again when he can get it, and he thinks it should be finished by the end of this week and possibly set it as soon as next week. I believe he was outside coming in when I was out there talking to him, just trying to finish up because I was a bit early.
Sir, are you waiting on a garage door too?
No, I stopped that because it said it'd be 5 to 6 months. I wanted to do something, so you can look in the bottom of that door. I've repaired the bottom 3 sections actually. The next section's glass, and I couldn't reach the other ones from my boat. So that's why I'm renting a barge so that I can and then paint the sides of it.
Okay, so you're going to repair the wooden door that's there already?
Correct.
Okay.
You'll see by the pictures, you'll see the bottom part of it that I've already repaired some.
What, is it number 14?
13, ma'am.
Oh, 13? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do we have a closer shot of this?
No, I got that from a droid because you're down between the boathouses and
Oh, number 14.
we just floated mine back in order to do the work.
Okay.
Let us see those again. I thought it was 14.
No, I'm number 13. On both sides, 12 and 14 are worse than mine.
So do you have a time frame on when you'll be done with this?
As soon as I get the barge, the letter, I don't know, I can
That's the
email it
first piece of
again.
paper.
Last time before us.
Yeah, that one there from the rental, he said he'd get it as soon as possible. I went in and paid for it on, actually it's my birthday, Monday, the October 4th. And I talked to him just before I come in here. He said the barge should be done and ready by the end of this week and possibly next week.
Okay,
I painted the door again also.
You want them all back?
Okay. Has there been, I guess, what happened? Oh, are you the inspector of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess I have to ask, have you inspected this since 30 days? Since
No, I haven't done anything up until, due to the fact that we had this hearing that was scheduled for today. Everything that I was responsible or looking at doing, I put on hold until he brought in the documentation that you guys had required him to bring.
Okay, so are we supposed to have another inspection, or are you going to wait until he's completely done, or what?
That can be arranged. I was under the impression that he was here for the appeal of the $500 second penalty.
Yeah, that's what he's here for, to appeal the $500 penalty. But he has done what we've asked for him to do. So, I'm gonna just start off, I'll make a motion that we waive the penalty.
Make a motion, what?
I make a motion that we waive the $500 administrative penalty.
That's you.
I'll
That's
second.
me. She second, Janet second.
For a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the motion on the floor, duly second, all in favor?
Mr. Frank Valley,
Yes.
Miss Janice Warner,
Yes.
Miss Dana Gamblin,
Yes.
Mr. Gary Gundelsberger.
Yes.
Miss Sharon Johnson,
Yes.
Miss Allison Well.
Yes.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question real
Yes.
quick? Are we going to levy any time element on Mr. Kimberlin for this work? I know he's indicating that the barge will be available at a certain point. I just wondered if there was going to be a time element before I can get back at, so.
Excuse me, I can notify you as soon as I know.
And if the board's happy with that, that works for me as well.
I can
That's
call her and
fine. So
know.
hopefully we'll hear from you before Christmas, though.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped the door thing and said I will fix it, I want it done.
So.
Before the snow flies.
Yeah. If not, you'll be on our 2022
Yeah, I was gonna say,
radar.
even maybe if you touch base once a month, if nothing's happened.
No,
you
I'm
know, let
hoping
them-
before.
Don't want you coming back here.
Communication is it.
We don't want you to come back 6 months from now. and
No, ma'am.
Nothing's happened.
I've been trying to stay in contact with you also.
It's
Hoping-
fine.
Okay, anything else for the board?
We got new business.
Motion to adjourn.
We got new business.
We got a third one.
No, she said we won't have him.
Okay.
We don't have a
The
third.
new business, case 21-10, Kevin Brownell, that is actually going to be moved to the November meeting at this time. Mr. Brownell did have a conflict, so I'm not sure if it's going to be, by the sounds of it, it will be on the November meeting, but it could possibly be on the December meeting.
Could we confirm what day that November meeting is?
November 30th is the next meeting.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is that number 14?
Yeah.
Yes.
Picture of it right next to
Yep.
me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell him we coming after him too.
I don't know. I believe he just sold it though. 'Cause there was some-
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He ain't getting out that easy just because he sold it. We gonna find him.
I was looking for that droid, but there's a lot of.
Okay, yeah. Well, we appreciate you though. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll see what I can to get it done.
You have a good day. Thank you.
I make a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay.
Motion adjourned, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Double check it.
Wait a minute, slam that. What's going on?
Yeah.